What is up? It's your boy Johnny Shreve, IFBB Pro, Mr. Tell Like It Is. Today guys, we're coaching up an old school video of Rich Piana's 1000 reps. Do you have what it takes? Obviously right off the bat, there's no need to do 1000 reps in one day at all. Maybe 1000 reps in the entire month, but right now, no. But I want to go through this video to show you guys some of the exercise that he's doing and the techniques that he's using that we can help optimize your own training yourself. And some of the exercises in there are actually pretty good. So let's dive right into it. We're going into a workout where we're potentially doing 1000 reps, and some of the advice that he's giving us right now, rest in peace, Rich Piana. This is before I start, guys. I was a massive fan of Rich Piana. I'm pretty sure everybody was. I thought back in the day, watch it now, I thought he had the dopest intro. The cinematography was sick. You know, everything. I just love the way he did it. He's a pioneer at these type of videos. But I want to get in this video and I just want to give my respect where respect is due. So 1000 reps, what you want to do is you want to have at least 2 carb meals before you work out. That is smart. If you're going to go into a workout where you're going to burn obviously a ton of calories and break down a lot of muscle, you do 100% want to be fueled. So 2 carb meals before you go, I would say just making sure that you're fueled. Making sure that you're eating some carbs that are going to be used pretty quickly. Some like, you know, rice, easy to digest, sweet potato if you want to stay on that healthier side. If you want to go on like the non-healthy side, cereal works. You know, a lot of fruit, but you want something that's going to really fill glycogen stores. So having some good quality, nutrient dense carbohydrates that are fast acting in terms of like simple sugar, simple carbs, rice, sweet potatoes, you're good to go. 2, have a real food shake, a huge meal, both protein and carbs after your workout. So basically, like, you know, giving you some good advice in terms of like, he's letting you know that this workout is going to demand a lot of calories and it's going to demand a lot of effort in terms of like your body's going to be breaking down a lot of muscle. If you do 1000 reps of this, it's going to be pretty damn damaging to your body. So you want to make sure that you're fueling yourself. So yeah, having some, you know, a good carb meal before you work out and then make sure you're fueled after you work out is important. Now, number 3, rest, sleep, and take the next day off. These are all really good pieces of advice. It makes a lot of sense. Make sure you're fueled before you work out and have a good enough amount of carbs that are going to keep you fueled for your workout, right? It's going to help with a absolutely amazing pump. I would say even like having a little bit of salt, stuff like that in your meals and help with the pump and absorbing some of the water and nutrients, and then making sure you're eating enough calories after can help with your recovery. And then he's very adamant about like making sure you get enough sleep and take the next day off of training. That's all some solid advice. The only thing that's not solid is 1000 reps. It's about it. So let's get into this video. So first we have alternate dumbbell curls 5 sets, lying cable curls 5 sets, incline dumbbell curls 4 sets, preacher dumbbell curls 4 sets, dumbbell concentrated curls 4 sets, cable curls 4 sets, and then we have cable concentration curls 4 sets, and they're all to the tune of 20 reps each. Now, how many exercises do we actually need for the biceps? 1 to 2. Contrary to belief, guys, you don't need to do more than that. Why? When it comes to your biceps, it doesn't matter what head, your long head, short head, whatever head it is, it's going to create elbow flexion. It's going to do this, right? It's going to do this. And then some of the bicep is going to help with supinating the wrist, right? There's a difference between supinating the wrist and externally rotating the shoulder. External rotation is from the shoulder, supination is from the wrist, and the bicep will help with supination. Now, if I want to bring my forearm into that, my brachioradialis, like this part of my arm, then we're doing like, say like hammer curls. So out of this complete list of things really right here, I would say pick any of these 2 exercises, 3 at most. Let's get into this video. The technique he's using here, like that little lean, that's a very good technique to use. When you're leaning over like that, you're basically creating a lot more stretch on the muscle so you can really get underneath the weight and get great alignment on your bicep tendon all the way straight through. So that technique he's doing with the tempo and the control is very, very good. What I would like to see more is obviously a little bit more of a stretch in the bottom, but again, we're doing alternating curls. The other hand that is basically not doing anything is staying in that stretch. Now for me, when it comes to this, if you're doing bicep curls alternating and you want to get a nice stretch, I would keep that arm open at the bottom like this so we can keep a little stretch on there. Does it really matter as much? Yeah, we're gonna have a little more stretch. If we can keep our hands basically like this at the bottom, and we're gonna get a stretch, we're gonna get stretched on that forearm as well too. So we want to keep it a little open and let it stretch while the other arm is working. So great supination, great tempo. Now, here's a couple things that Rich does really good. He's picking exercises that are gonna have a lot of stress on that lengthened contraction. When the arms are complete out like this, we're lengthened. The lowering to the lengthened contraction is gonna get a lot more muscle hypertrophy in that area, in this contraction. Concentric is completely and utterly important as well too, but you're gonna get the most amount on the way down. So doing these lying cable curls like this is amazing. Why? Because when you're at the bottom, there's a great stretch from the cable still pulling you there. There's still tension on the muscle. The only difference when it comes to this is, see how he kind of jabs the bottom? I would like to just sit there. When you're down, let it open, let it pull you, let it literally pull you down. When anyone's doing this exercise, it's a great exercise, cosign, do it. When you're getting pulled down, let it stretch, hold it for a second, then drive it up, down, right? Everything he's doing in this, the tempo on the way down, great, on the way down. I'll get myself to hold that a little bit longer, and that's gonna give you a lot more muscle recruitment in that area. But nonetheless, this is a really good exercise. So far, these movements are awesome movements to do. Now again, as extreme as this entire exercise is, 1,000 reps, we can take some gems out of this. This is a great movement. Again, this is another exercise that I like doing myself. The incline on this bench is in a way where when he's at that hanging part right here, his shoulders aren't in a bad spot. Plus, the way he's doing this too is he's getting even more of a stretch by actually pushing his arms back even more. So he's creating more of a stretch in that length and contraction. So he's making this exercise that much more optimal here, which is really good. Now I can see he's kind of stretching a bit. I mean, does it necessarily matter if he, you know, stretches at the bottom and he goes into that, maybe that neutral, that hammer grip position? Not necessarily. I mean, like, yeah, you're gonna feel a little bit more when you have your hand completely open up like this and you're stretching at the bottom, for sure, 100%. Now here, he's still gonna get a nice stretch there as well too, but he's gonna get a lot more in that brachioradialis. So the only thing I would change with this would be to, on the way to the bottom, keeping your hand open. Keep that supination at the bottom of the incline dumbbell curls. Now we have the preacher curl, one arm preacher curl, which is good. Again, when we're talking about this movement, the lowering to the weight, that length and contraction is where you want to hold it for at least a second. At least a second. A lot of you guys are just coming down doing this, right? And I gotta tell my clients all the time, like I gotta remind them every time you see me a video in, I'm like, guys, make sure we stay at least 1 second in that lengthening contraction. Just get down there, 1001, get up, right? 1001, get up like that. And he's got a great incline there that actually gives him the ability to still have a good tension on the muscle in this point. Man, his arms are dope. So great exercise. So far, 3 movements that are dope. All right, cool. Now this movement here, concentration curl for here. Now we talk about like stimulus to fatigue ratio. After already doing a bunch of exercise right now, fatigue is gonna be very high. So if I'm gonna do a concentration curl, I'm gonna wanna do something where I'm actually sitting down, traditionally where my arm is on the inside of my leg. And then again, that little caveat where I showed you before is having a nice little stretch at the bottom. Right here, there is a stretch because it's just naturally hanging, but it's not as much. Right there's almost like a dead hang, that there's not much tension at that bottom. And I would much rather see him doing it traditionally inside his leg, where he can really force the stretch by leaning back a bit, letting it stretch, and then coming up, because the dumbbell is only going to create tension with gravity. So as soon as you're down hanging like this, there's not much tension. You really got to like force tension by just changing the angle. But again, tempos are great. He's doing a really good job of controlling the weight, making these sets long and last. Now, when it comes to exercises, these are one of my least favorite bicep movements. For me, I'd rather have you just do a regular curl. When we're here, there's maybe tension pulling you away, but there's not much tension until we're kind of here. So we're pulling here and then we're here. It's like, it's hard to really retract your bicep. You can do a bicep. It makes sense. Like if you're doing like a, you know, front double bicep doing this, yeah, it makes sense. But like pulling it in for me, stabilization, keep your shoulders depressed, you know, external rotation, really getting a good like contraction on the way in. It's not really my favorite exercise. So I would pass on this and do something a little more basic that's going to give you how much more tension on the muscle on your bicep. Now this is a good exercise here. I like how he's doing the cable, the concentration curls again. When it comes to, remember, I don't want to tire myself out by being in a position that's going to make me more tired when I'm doing this exercise. The guy's doing 1,000 reps and now we're bent over doing the same exercise. There's a lot of like repetition in terms of movements here. Obviously we're doing biceps, so there's a lot of repetition here, but when it comes to this is going to give you that much more tension, because again, at the bottom of this, you can see how there's tension on the way out. The only thing is that if Rich was with us today, I'm pretty sure he'd be watching Doc Mike or myself or whatever, and I guarantee he'd probably be opening that up and stretching at the bottom here, because again, that little jab at the bottom. And again, you guys are like watching me talk about Rich Piana, his arms, the way he's arm training. I'm not saying how he should probably just change things up, because obviously what he was doing works. Regardless of what you think's in his arms or not, doesn't really matter. That guy worked for his arms. I'm doing this video for you guys, for all of you who are not Rich Piana, who might be people who just might need to do things a little more basic to help grow their biceps. So when we're doing bicep curls, this is a very good bicep exercise to do. I would much rather do it standing up with the cables pulling me behind that way. That way I can get a lot more stimulus from just overall control, and I'm just in a better overall body position to do this, right? And again, we want to use that 1 second, at least one true second stretch in that lengthened contraction. All right, now we have the dumbbell reverse curls. For me, I'm not a fan. If anything, if I want to get my forearm to really work, I'm gonna do hammer curls. They're my go-to for like the all-encompassing bicep curl. Holding it here, you can definitely get, your bicep's gonna work. Regardless if you supinate or not, your bicep is going to pull your arm like so. Now, when it comes to trying to incorporate the forearms, I'm not a fan of doing them that way. Plus, we want to stretch, right? We want to get a good stretch. We get a lot of like shoulder movement than we are actual bicep. And I guarantee at the end of this exercise, this guy's just daggone tired. And then we have the famous Zotman curls. I have done these before. My football coach brought these into us to help out with our forearm development. When it comes to just hypertrophy, don't make things so complicated. Doing like 2 exercises in one sometimes isn't that necessary when you can just do like reverse curls and then do regular, supinated dumbbell curls, right? I don't see the point in doing reverse curls and then doing Zotman curls right after. Now he's doing my exercise. We're doing some hammer curls, which I like. Again, when you guys are doing them, get that nice stretch at the bottom. Get a weight that's going to let you control the movement on the way down, and then nice stretch at the bottom, and then contract on the way up without so much shoulder English or trap English. We don't need all that there. When you got to do this, right, you're taking away from the biceps. If you have trouble growing your biceps, you want to stay far away from doing any kind of movement that's going to take away from the tension of the bicep. So lower the weight, get rid of the ego, and rep it out. All right, now we got some traditional easy bar curls. Love easy bar curls. They're one of my favorite. Again, this guy's at the end of doing 1,000 reps of biceps. Again, this is a very repetitive exercise, right? We've done a lot of bicep curling like this. I would say 80% of the entire exercise has been supinated biceps in some way, shape, or form. And we've had a little bit of forearm, and we have a lot more forearm in terms of like the complete reverse curl. So when it comes to doing 1,000 reps, you could have easily just did, your traditional supinated curl, whether it be easy bar, straight bar, cable, and then he could have easily just did a hammer curl and be completely fine. If you want to add that third one in, then add like a unilateral exercise, right? We do both two bilateral exercises, and then you do a unilateral exercise. So if I was going to just grab any 3 of these exercises and just go to town with them, do 1,000 reps, I wouldn't really consider doing 1,000 reps. But if I was going to grab 3 of these movements to give you the best overall stimulus out of these movements, I would say the incline dumbbell curls, the lying cable curls, and the preacher curl. I think those are 3 great exercises that are going to give you the most amount of muscle recruitment. The rest of them are pretty good. Again, you don't need to do all of them. They're all very repetitive. So when it comes to picking bicep movements, you want to pick the movement that's going to give you the most amount of muscle recruitment in that lengthened part of the lift, and then a movement that you're just going to enjoy the most, to be honest, right? So if anything, guys, great video from Rich. You don't need 1,000 reps. The nutritional advice at the beginning is very solid, right? Making sure you're fueled before you work out, getting some easy, simple carbs in you, and then making sure you're fueled after you work out, especially if you're doing something like crazy like this. But again, regardless, make sure you're fueled after. But then the biggest thing too is recovering and getting your water, getting your rest, and then taking that next day off. Good solid advice in this video. Great exercises in this video as well too. And I would just do that. Watch videos like this and just find the things in there that you like the most, and then do those things, and then apply some of the tips that I've shown you guys today. Anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Until next time, guys, check it out. Book yourself a consult with me, guys. I've now made it an hour video consult with me. We'll talk about nutrition, training, supplementation, mental health, or if you need a little bit of consulting with maybe you're starting your own YouTube channel or social media or some kind of marketing, help you out with that as well too. And at the end of the consult, I actually deduct $100 off any package that you pick. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Until next time, you know how it is. Iron sharpens iron. Progressive overload your life. In the meantime, keep dream chasing. Peace.